The Ember Mug is expensive, so I tracked how often I actually used it because that's how I figure out if something is actually worth it. So let's select this product and take a peek at what the data says about my usage. My data for this is the entire year of 2025. This doesn't include any data from 2026. You can see for the year of 2025, I used this for 295 days. That is quite a lot out of the entire year. My next metric is days owned, which does go to today, so it's going to be a lot bigger than just 2025. If I change my metrics to only include the year 2025, we would see my usage rate actually go up when it's already at 66%, which is pretty solid on its own. So even with that limitation, it shows that I'm using this mug more than half of the days of the year, which is pretty good. That is quite a lot for a daily driver. That brings us to our final metric, which is cost per use, and this mug for me is ringing in at 55 cents a use. That's pretty low, and it would be lower if I had data through 2026. Now, this will probably be compared to things like a ceramic mug, which will cost 10 to 15 bucks, and that is definitely cheaper. But it doesn't account for things like having to get up and microwave your cold coffee, or the disgusting taste of cold coffee as a surprise after you finish a work meeting. What really reinforces the Ember Mug for me is the fact that essentially I'm paying 55 cents every day right now to have hot coffee every time I take a sip. And not just hot coffee, but the exact temperature that I like to drink coffee at. One important distinction with this mug, though, is that unlike something like, say, a Yeti travel mug, is that I exclusively use this at home. I don't take it outside of my house ever. So that can make a difference depending on what your needs are. Since I work from home, you can see on my total uses per month chart that it's fairly consistent. I'm hitting the high to mid 20s every single month almost, except for November and December. But we can see why that is in the line chart where we have a note of why it wasn't used. I was visiting my parents for a little bit in July, so that makes perfect sense. I don't take the mug with me. And as we climb further, we see the other plateau that was in late November, early December, and you can see I was on vacation in Japan, another place where I wouldn't bring this mug. Otherwise, we have this lovely, steady slope that goes upward as the year continues on. If the data continued further, we would see this slope continue. One important distinction for me is that I don't drink caffeine on Saturdays, so I skip the use of my mug, and it explains why I'm never hitting 30 plus on any of the months that would have 30 or 31 days. All of this data culminates to one thing: justifying why I have this mug. As you can see, I clearly use it, even though I've owned it a long time. The rate is very good of usage, even with the fact that my data is skewed because I don't have any 2026 data collected. While the Ember Mug is rather expensive up front, I believe that the MSRP for this is approximately $180 for my specific mug. I went with a metal finish because I like the look of it a little better. It was kind of an impulse buy at that point, but the other models I think are $150. They are expensive. There is no denying that. But the more I use it, the more days that go by, the better cost per use I get. And again, I get the idea that a ceramic mug will hold my coffee and allow me to drink my coffee as well. At one point, I used a Yeti for about 3 or 4 years for work before I worked from home because I needed to bring hot coffee with me to work. The Yeti worked great because I was going somewhere with it. I still would usually end up with the bottom of my mug a little bit cold by the end of it, but you have to make some concessions when you have to drive to work every day. Based on my data and all the metrics I provided, I think I can safely recommend this mug so long as you are an avid drinker of warm beverages and you have access to utilize a mug like this that has a specific battery life. So if you don't work from home, but maybe you have a desk at work that you can comfortably plug this into and still utilize it, that's going to be the key here. If you don't have a desk or you're constantly on the go, you might not want to use this mug. So your situation is going to really play a big role in deciding whether or not this is for you. If you have questions about this mug or just want to know anything in general, please ask away in the comments. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. I just know that I really enjoy my time with this mug, and I'm going to keep enjoying my time with this mug.